don't want any distractions coming in your way. So I'd like you all to, just some instructions. I'm going to just share my screen. Yeah. So is my screen being seen? You can just give a thumbs up if you can see the screen. Okay, wonderful. So yeah, just some instructions before we get started. If you are joining via mobile, do switch it to airplane mode so that there's no distractions. If joining via desktop or laptop, close the other windows and keep them away. And if you get cut off, just join back by clicking the same link again. Of course, if you have any questions that are going on during the sessions, please put them in the chat box and we'll address those questions later. And there will be sufficient time at the end for Q&A. So all the questions that you have will be answered today. Yeah. Let's begin with a small meditation to ground and connect ourselves with, and come back to our body. Oh, wait. Yeah. So I request everybody to just take a comfortable seat, gently close your eyes, and take a deep breath. A slow breath in and let it go with a sigh. One more time, breathing in ease and breathing out release. Just take a few moments to just be with yourself and feel your breathing. And now feel the ground beneath you, steady, strong, and solid. Imagine the roots growing from your body into the earth, connecting you with Mother Earth's deep, nourishing energy. She holds you, she supports you, and she grounds you. Now bring your awareness to your heart and imagine a soft, radiant flame glowing in your heart, the light of the divine feminine within you. This is your Shakti, your inner goddess, eternal and powerful, and it is alive within you right now. As you breathe into this light, repeat silently to yourself, I honor the goddess within me. I am strength, I am grace, I am infinite energy. Let that sink in. Now see this light expand from your heart, filling your entire being. It flows into your mind, bringing clarity, into your body, bringing vitality, into your spirit, bringing devotion and joy. Feel yourself embodying the qualities of nourishment, wisdom, courage, compassion. In this sacred moment, know that your presence here is an offering to this inner goddess. Take a final deep breath, feeling this power that lies right within you, has always been there within you. Just giving it this moment to acknowledge. And as you exhale, feel yourself grounded in the earth below and illuminated by this goddess within. And when you are ready, you can gently open your eyes, carrying this connection with you into our time together. There's no need to rush. You can take a minute or so more to really collect yourself, feel this power and energy. And once you've opened your eyes, you can just give a thumbs up so that I know. Okay. So now you all can, those who still have their eyes closed can open their eyes. And let's move on to the agenda for today's session. So today's session, somebody was asking uh, about me. So we'll start with an introduction about me, and then we'll move on to why fast. What exactly is this whole fasting thing all about? We've probably heard a lot on the internet and from people, and many of us have actually grown up seeing people in our families, doing this Navaratri fasting. So what really is this whole, what's the whole hullabaloo about it? Then the significance of fasting at this particular time, and specifically this Navratri fasting. And then we'll go into what happens when we fast, what really goes on, in our mind, body, spirit. And then we come to some practical aspects, such as, different ways to fast, what are the different kinds of, so many things, again, we might have heard on the media and the internet. And what is the right thing for you? Also, more importantly, who should not fast? Because is it for everyone? Is it, for some people, not for others? So also going to clear the air about that. And then I'm going to talk about something very interesting, which is the five elements or the Panch Mahabhutas and how they are connected, and how they can, an understanding and awareness of these can help us in our fasting and our healing journey. Then connected to that is the higher foods or the subtle foods, as they're also known in Ayurveda and in Nature Cure. And then I'm going to introduce you all to the Navratri support program. For those of you who would like some support with their fasting, would like to go deeper, would like to learn more about everything that we talk about in today's session, I'm going to share about that. And then we'll also, go over what are some of the mistakes people make when they're fasting. So essentially, we're going to make you pretty fasting ready. And then we'll also have enough time for questions and answers as well. Yeah. So without any further delay, let's get started. Let's move on to, this is me in 2010. And on the right side are all the health issues that gripped me and made my living quite a bit of pain for me at that point. I was around 30 years old at that time. And I literally woke up each morning with sinus and went through the whole day with no break from acidity, bloating, brain fog. Like I just felt like they were just me. They were like, this is how I am. Like they were, uh, nothing ever got better. It was always like some level of acidity, bloating. I woke up with it and I slept with them, and then they kept going up and down through the day. And I also felt sick with stomach infections and fevers, had to resort to antibiotics, which I really came to abhor because they made me even more sick, right? So, I mean, I was literally quite done with this miserable living. And that's when I asked the universe to kind of save me. And the universe gave me the plant based nutrition and plant based diet at that point. It just came, from somewhere, it, just came up. And I was quite a skeptic at first, but then when I took it up and I gave it a try, I started to see changes and relief in literally like 4 days. And I also learned that I actually never really needed the medicines, as my body knew how to heal itself. I aggressively started to make changes in my food and my lifestyle with this new information. And I like literally went down this rabbit hole, just wanting to learn more and more because I was really feeling a lot of relief. And cut to 6 months later, most of my health issues were gone. I felt like a new person. I had, and this person I never knew before. She was confident because she wasn't brain fogged, and she could travel, she could enjoy her life because she had a lot of energy. And she also, could honor commitments because she wasn't falling sick all the time. So this was all very new for me, and like in my 30s, when I started this change. And well, then I did these certifications in nutrition, in eating psychology, in nature cure, and most recently in the philosophy of Louise Hay. And started to coach people, teaching healthy cooking, wellness retreats, and also moved to cities twice during these the last 10 years. So that in a nutshell, is my story. All these, we go. And if we look at me, this is me in 2025. And like what I really see over here is that like these pictures are like 15 years apart from one another. But I really see like that there's so much of radiance and there's so much of light in the one who's, in the picture, which is in 2025. And there was something that's not very alive in this, person who was there in 2010. So that's really like, I mean, I feel like I've grown older, but somewhere, feel younger. And the skin texture, there's a difference in that as well. There's more clarity. The eyes are more clear. They're not that hazy. So that's my story so far. Coming to the content for today's session, I'd like to know like who all have fasted before. If you can just put it in the chat, like yes, no, whatever, like yes, no, long back, what kind of fast you've done. So if you could quickly put that, I'll just keep sharing. Yeah, so lot of answers. Yes, long back, yes, long back, water fast. Oh, excellent. Ekadashi, Navaratri. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so ages back, no. Okay, some people haven't done it. There's quite a few people who have done it, which is really amazing. Congratulations. Ages ago. Okay. So fair bit of people have done. Oh wow, somebody's done it. Sarika has done a juice fast for 10 days. Wow, Sarika, congratulations. I think maybe at the end of the session you can tell us how it was, what the experience was. It's really wonderful. Um, okay, super. Let's look at why we fast. So there's two aspects to it. Fasting is in our culture, right? Like Christians have Lent, Muslims have Rosa, the Buddhists and Jains also have their fasts. And the Hindus also have, like, some of you have mentioned, like the Ekadashi fast and the Navaratri fast, and in Savan some people fast. And then there are other people who also fast for health reasons as well. Yeah, so interestingly, before it came into our culture, we really look at nature. It's also there in nature. Yeah. So anybody has pets over here, dogs, cats? And if you can tell me, like, when they get sick, what do they do? Do they, you can put it in the chat. If you have a dog or a cat, and if they've ever gotten sick, what do you see them doing? Yeah. Lata has 6 cats. So have your cats ever fallen, like been sick or not been well? Yeah, they eat grass, they vomit, they stop eating, they just rest. Actually, many of them actually just go into the sun and they expose their belly also. And they just, like they just rest. Yeah, they just slow down, they rest. And in fact, I have a cat also. And I see the same thing in her. Like every month or every few months, some point, like I'll know that she's not eating because she's just giving herself a break. So, this is very much like, cultures actually get formed, they learn from nature only. So perhaps, some people in the past, our forefathers, our ancestors, they actually picked up all these cues from nature. And even human beings, like when we are sick, when we have fever? Does anybody, our body stops to give us those signals. Like, the body takes our energy away. And also, um, does not give us any hunger signals. We don't feel hungry. We just want to lie down. We want to rest. And it's only when we pop pills that, there is a semblance of some normalcy. But if not, then our body is giving us the communication of no food, rest, you know, and so that it can actually heal itself. Yeah. So fasting is not anything, abnormal, or it's not anything, out of the ordinary. It's very much part and parcel of nature, culture, our lives, and it's worth it to actually go into it and understand the right way to do it, right? So fasting has many sides to it. Let's look at what's the next. Yeah, like we can experience many benefits of it, and that's the reason um, so many cultures are doing it. So it's propagated in so many ways: physical health, detoxification, then mental, and this is more at a more gross level. We can see it. We can it's tangible. There's also it also comes with mental sharpness. It brings about that. And then there's also this whole spiritual aspect to it, where it brings more clarity, it brings more connection. And if you ask any people who have actually, especially somebody mentioned about this 10-day fast. So I'm sure we can hear from her later on in the session, what it did for her, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, what all it did also, right? So let's see. Yeah. So here's a video from this lady who was there in my last fasting program, and she had actually never really done any fasting before. But I'd just like you to see her, what she had to say after she, went through the program.
Hi, I'm Taru. I had read about the fasting webinar. It popped on my Insta, and it sounded really interesting. I read up more on it, saw Bhavna's profile, and looked like something I was looking for, because though I do fast occasionally, I think I don't know the right way to do it. And this sounded really interesting. And it came at the right time when I was having some digestive issues as well. So I decided to go for it. It's been a real eye opener. Bhavna explains everything so well, the whole psychology behind fasting, and everything is well explained. For me personally, it was a huge help to for my digestive issues, as well as to curb my cravings. It's been a week that I've done it now. Didn't feel the need for any sugar or any salt or anything, because everything was taken care of by the food I was eating. What I experienced was a miracle, because there's not been a day when I haven't experienced hair loss, and my hair loss is very severe. But this was the first time when, on washing my hair didn't fall. It barely fell. So that was huge. And generally, I felt I've become much calmer. In this 1 week, I was more in control of my emotions, more in control of my hunger, and I was just not grazing all day long, which I'm otherwise prone to do. Uh, it's a very simple. I'm a newbie at this too. It's not that I've ever done it before. I just fast maybe once in a while, occasionally. So it was a huge, it was a big step for me too, and it was very helpful. I think this is something that will continue with me for life now. It was really helpful. Thank you, Bhavna.
Mm, okay. And this is a picture of this friend of mine who's in Mumbai. Some of you may actually know her as well, Mayavi. She had this lump on her, as you can see, this huge lump. And she healed it 100% with just fasting. So I'll really show you the next lot of pictures. So you see, like, no medication, nothing. She just fasted, and the body did its job and just healed her. So this was really incredible. And one of the previous workshops, she actually, she was there, she was part of it, and she shared the whole story. It was really, really very, very powerful. Like, how when we just get out of the way, um, the miracles happen. So, and this is another lady from another detox, another fasting workshop. And she also actually did it for the first time. And, here's what she says. She says, finally, I had the courage, and, she didn't find it difficult at all. And what she couldn't believe was that, she says that I was not craving coffee and sugar, which I've not been able to give up for a long time. It came so beautifully. There were no headaches, no side effects. It's because the way I actually guide, like, it's really a step by step approach where this, like, these detox symptoms and all are not like, huge. And also she had gut issues and constipation, and that was also like a lot better. So yeah, that was quite incredible. And then, like, these are some of the chats which were there on that WhatsApp group, and one of them is saying that, I'm a coffee addict but sugar cravings, and I had no desire for sugar or coffee. And then, somebody said that I'm noticing that there is no slump in the energy and no cravings. So isn't it interesting that we associate fasting with eating less and, abstaining from food, and like each one of them has actually spoken about the fact that there were no cravings. So I thought that was, quite interesting also. And they just followed the guidelines for a few days, and, this is what happened. So um so now let's understand, like, how did all this happen for all these people, right? I'm sure, like, quite a few of you might have already experienced this as well. Those of you who have experienced, fasting in the right way. Yeah. So essentially, when we eat food, a lot of our energy goes into digestion. And when we actually abstain, or of course, I'm over here, I'm not propagating that we stop eating, but we just move on to other foods, foods that we don't eat on a daily basis, but like a slightly different, sort of a regimen. And we'll also come to the different kinds of fasts. But essentially, what we are trying to achieve with fasting is to give ourselves a much needed holiday, like our body a much needed holiday, our digestive system a much needed holiday. And therefore, what happens with that is that our energy gets conserved. That energy, the vital energy, which is day in and day out getting used for digesting our foods, for eliminating, for absorption, for all these activities. And when the body has this energy reservoir, and this energy is saved up, imagine what the, like, just think about what the body is really going to do about, with that energy, right? Like, so this is how the change within the body happens. um yeah, so this saved up energy actually gets redirected inside. Yeah, and it leads to detoxification of all old stored toxins. It goes into areas, the body is like, oh, like, I can actually go in deeper, and I can repair, and I can heal, like I can heal the cells as well. And this leads to actually improved cellular function and improved function of all organs. So many times, like, we have health issues because some part of our body, some organ is not functioning properly, and the energy is not going there. The repair is not happening, the machinery is not okay. So that energy actually starts to flow into all these backlogs. It also leads to obviously improved digestion and absorption, because our digestive system gets a break. It actually, doesn't have that much work to do. Yeah, it leads to improved hormone balance and stronger immunity, because 80% of our immune system is in our digestive, is within our gut. And when that gets a break, so does our immune system get a break. And when anything gets a break, they get recharged and refreshed, and they, come back stronger. Yeah, like when we get good sleep in the night, we feel refreshed in the morning, right? Same way, these organs and the immune system and everything gets, they get a good break, and the immune system comes back recharged. People have also experienced greater energy, flexibility, stamina, because our blood becomes thinner. And, it starts to go into all different nooks and crannies, into capillaries and into parts of our body where maybe it was difficult for the blood to go, So all the vitality starts to come back. People experience deep sleep and also increased mental sharpness. Yeah. So we also sleep better because there are no stimulants, we're not, ingesting stimulants. The whole idea is also to go a little bit more inwards, even not just in our food, but also in our everyday activities, to slow down. So as a result, like deep rest begins to happen. Sorry. So, sorry. Yeah, so this is the great benefit of fasting at this, at this particular time. You get amusing, you also get like, this is actually like, a time, especially the Navaratri time. I'll just change the slide. Yeah, the great. So Navaratri falls at two times in the year, and both the times are the times when seasons are changing and we're moving into like some major season where we require the immunity. Yeah. So for example, like now we're moving from monsoon, autumn to winter, especially in the northern part of India where it gets very, very cold. In the other Navratri, we're moving from winter to summer, which is again like, big season change. And so this actually, like, the timing is so correct because the weather is neither too hot nor too cold. It's simpler and easier to actually undertake, give ourselves this break and to actually fast at this time. It's just easier to for our body to do it as opposed to doing it in like harsh in the middle of winter or any other time. So when we do it at this time, we're actually preparing ourselves to be strong for the next 6 months until the next Navratri. So also at this time, like, you know, like practically like there's so many people who are actually fasting together, so whether they're part of this program or not, like, there are just so many people who are doing it. So this collective energy also really helps in just making it happen. So many of the foods that we are looking for example buckwheat and these things, they're very easily available. So one is able to actually, this is actually one of the really, really good time to do it. Also, I have been free of, like, as I was sharing in my story, I've actually been free of medicine since 2011, like not even like a paracetamol or painkiller or anything like that. And so even when I have a fever or a cold or anything, which I've had a few naturally, like, in the last 15 years, I've also gone through like COVID, I've gone through some viral infections, I've gone through dengue. So these were some of the big ones. And the reason one is not taking the medications is because the medicines have side effects. And those side effects are not side effects. They're actually like effects that happen in the body. So they're, in marketing language, they're called side effects, but they're actually real effects. And what they really do is they don't really heal. They're only like suppressing the symptoms. So these days, I mean, also because, these days, because, if one has seen that when one is taking more and more medication, and especially antibiotics, the fevers are actually getting higher and worse because these germs, virus, bacteria, they're actually developing resistance against the bacteria, against the antibiotics. So they're actually not functioning. And so higher doses and stronger antibiotics need to be given. And it's really, it totally disrupts our, our gut. So I let my body do the fighting and to heal itself. I give it the rest and I listen to my body. And most likely, when I'm having high fever or anything like that, I'm not hungry. So I don't eat, or I have very hydrating foods, like I'll have some juice, or I'll have coconut water, or I'll have some fruit. And so the point I'm trying to make over here is that for those of you who want to use this, like fasting can be a very powerful tool to help you heal. But when you have a fever or when you have something that's come, that's not the right time to do it for the first time. Yeah. So, one of my mentors told me, like, in my health and healing journey, that you're not going to have the courage to learn this when you are sick. So, and when you're sick and when you're running fever, but you can learn this when you're fine, when you're doing okay, and experience the benefits and gain the confidence also, you know. And then when, it becomes an option for you, if you get sick, if you come down with fever, you already have some prior experience, and you then can say that, yeah, okay, I'm going to do this, and this is how I did it for the first time, because I had experienced this, I had learned the how it works, how my body is going to heal. I learned that, and I actually experienced this fasting as well. And then when I next felt sick, I was like, okay, fine, let's no medication, let the body do its healing. I'll do all these things because I already know how to do it, and I'm confident that my body will be fine. Yeah, of course I had guidance from my mentors and people who were guiding me, and I was in touch with them. And even now when my clients, many of them, when they go through something, I'm there for them, because I'm guiding them every step of the way, because they do, at that point, sometimes they do need a little bit of support and monitoring, and they may need some extra suggestions, or maybe they're not, which I, through my experience, I'm able to guide them. Yeah. So this is actually the main reason why um, fasting in the right way at this point would be important for all of you. So moving forward, let's move on to how to begin and what are the different kinds of fast. Yeah. So I'm sure we've all heard of many of these, especially like intermittent fasting, very popular these days. And then there is the Navaratri fasting, which is essentially like, a fruit feast with one cooked meal in the night, which is like we call it that palahari meal, which is vegetable or millet based kind of a meal. And then we have fruit feasting, there's juice feasting, which is also very popular these days. And then we go into a little bit more. Then these are like different levels, basically, like going from the easiest to like more, more difficult levels of fasting. And then we move to an actual half day water fast, then a full day water fast, and then pranic fasting. And the last two we are not going to explore in today's session, because we're only concerned with like the first few levels in with, because we want to have an introduction. It's more for people who are learning how to start and how to do it. Yeah, so let's start with the single cooked meal Navratri fasting. Now this is actually the format which is really, actually, it's really wonderful, and it's a great way for an absolute beginner to give a shot to fasting. And it's very simple. It's like you can eat as much fruit all day, and fruit is extremely, there's nothing known as overeating on fruits. So you eat as much fruits as you want all day. Different, many, you can like do breakfast, you can do a mid meal, you can do a lunch, 4 5 times, 6 times, how many ever times you can. And you can make them into like mono fruit meals, or you can make them into mixed fruit meals, you can make them into smoothies. Um this then, minimal, if you really need to, then minimal nuts and coconut, but if avoidable, then great. And a vegetable and a millet based meal at sunset. So the main thing with this is like you're actually cutting down on your salt intake, which is only going to be once a day. And this is actually a very powerful formula, and many people do it for entire 9 days. But the mistake they make in this format is that they actually end up eating a lot of, like, in the meal, they end up eating fried food. And even when they have snacks, you have these chips and fried things, which are, and there's sabudana, which is highly processed. So all these things are there, and that's what the mistake is. The meals are supposed to be absolutely light and minimal, and they're just, the evening meal is just there as a comfort meal. Yeah. So I also advocate something called approach to fasting. Yeah. So if you feel like this, this is too much for you, like which may be for some people. I know there are some master fasters over here, but there may be some people who've never done it and are actually afraid because they feel like they are feeling that they won't be able to sustain on fruits all day. So this is not an actual fast, but that's why I call it an approach to fasting. It's like one step closer. It's like you want to jump into the swimming pool. So right now you're just dipping your feet in it, that kind of a thing. And so in this, essentially, like you could practice the intermittent fasting. Like you could have like a big window of break uh, between your meal the previous evening and your first meal the next day. Can, may not, it's up to you. But essentially what you can do is your first meal should can be a fruit meal or a fruit based meal. Only fruit, huh? Not adding any, like when I say fruit based smoothie, I'm not advocating that you add like nuts and nut butter and these kind of things to it. Just add fruits to it. Your second meal can be a grain free meal, but it'll be a filling meal. So there could be a lot of root vegetables, starchy vegetables. There could be a salad, but it's essentially 100% only vegetables. There's no grain in it. And then your third meal is a vegetable based, the same meal what you do in the Navaratri, like a vegetable and a millet based meal at sunset. And of course, since this is still an approach to fasting, some healthy snacks and beverages can be included, like coconut water, herbal tea, some nuts, makhana, these kind of things can be there. Then we move to fruit feasting, which is really, really very amazing. And it, as the name suggests, very simple, just multiple fruit based meals during the day. Mono fruit meals, which means like only a single kind of fruit per meal, or it could be like mixed fruit, it could be fruit salad, it could be just fruit in different forms. It could be fruit smoothies, smoothie bowls, but of course without dairy and nut butter and stuff like that. And you can include coconut water and infusions, or like warm herbal teas and infusions in this as well. If you would like to make this easier, this is actually like could be very similar to the Navratri feasting plan, but you could make your night meal lighter. If you feel like you want to give this a try, you've never done it, and so instead of the Navratri compliant meal, you can just do like like a grain free meal at night, which is just vegetables, or it could be a soup or something like that. And then there is juice feasting, which is essentially a completely liquid fast. And this is basically multiple veggie juices throughout the day, like every few hours. And there are different colors, like different kinds of vegetables are added in. So that one gets like a lot of minerals and a phytonutrient boost. And you can include coconut water, but without malai, because we want to be on complete liquids. But if one is doing it for the first time, one can actually make it easier by also like mixing a juice and a fruit feast. It could be like the first half of the day you do juice, and then like post lunch onwards you do fruit, which is a little bit solid. Or it could be like you do a juice, then you do some fruit, then you do a juice, and you can do some fruit. So different permutation combinations, what works for you can you can make it, you can do an in between stage, and then move on to juice feasting, like complete juice feasting when you feel like, yeah, I'm ready for it, and I'm ready to take this on. Yeah. The juice feast, actually, I don't recommend that it's done for more than 3 days without proper guidance and supervision. If you are somebody who's been in the practice of fasting and you know yourself and you have connection, like a deep connection with your body, and then you're intuitively actually, allowing, doing it, then it's fine. But if you're like somebody who's new to this whole concept, then more than 3 days, you probably need like 3 days is a lot then, and uh, beyond that, like some guidance, that if there's some health issue you're tackling, then you do need some maybe one-on-one guidance on that, like how to move forward and how to proceed ahead with it. And then we move to a very interesting, it's called a half day water fast. But on this, you're actually on water throughout the day till about 5 p.m. in the evening till your evening meal. And you break the fast with coconut water at about say 5 p.m., just an hour before your dinner. And then you can do like a light meal based, it could be just fruits, it could be a vegetable soup, or it could be a light meal as well. So it's called a half day fast, but it's very cryptic. It's actually like you've been on a fast almost 24 hours just on water. And this is also really, really very, very, it's very, very beneficial and very, very powerful. The idea in this is to keep yourself very highly hydrated. And this is an actual 100% break to the system. And then moving forward, once you've experienced the 20 this half day fast, then you can actually try the 1 day fast, which it's only water for 36 hours, which means that this coconut water and this meal is also not happening. And this also many people do. So now the thing is that there are different ways in which one can approach which fast to go for. Now, some people like to go step by step. They want to first test the waters, they want to like practice. And I know people who've gone in for this half day water fast. They've never fasted before, but they've done this half day water fast, or they've done this 1 day, and it's been fine. So, again, it's kind of like, it really depends on you, because anything can actually work. Different approaches work for different people. And I want us to just spend like a few minutes just talking about intermittent fasting also, because it's so popular these days. And it's something that actually can be sustained over a long period of time. It's actually one of the easiest ways to start your fasting journey. And typically, we know, I'm sure most of us are aware that an intermittent fasting, by intermittent fasting, we mean that you eat in an 8-hour eating window, and you like out of the 24-hour cycle, and you fast for 16 hours, right? So, but I see a lot of people struggle with it as well. So, which is why I'm, just sharing a few things. So, number one thing is, now, how do you start on this? Like, first of all, it's about really keeping yourself a little bit flexible rather than so rigid about like, this is how it's supposed to be. It's, 8 hours I will eat and 16 hours I will fast. What you got to look at this point is, what time did you have your dinner the night before? Say it was 8 p.m. And what time are you having your breakfast the next morning? Say it's 9 a.m. So if you had your dinner at 8 p.m. and your breakfast, okay, let's not make it 9 a.m. Let's make it 8 a.m. So there was a 12-hour gap between your dinner and the breakfast next morning, right? So what you can do is, instead of jumping to 16 hours straight, which may be a big struggle, you can actually move to 13 hours. Do that for a week. See how that lands for you. And I'm saying all this because this is, you might be actually doing it while you're not taking a break. You may be working, you may be having children, you may be having a lot of other responsibilities that you have to take care of. So within that parameter, how do you actually start to gain more benefit? So you make your window 13 hours. Maybe you make your breakfast a bit later, or you make your dinner a bit earlier. And then after a week, 10 days, if it's, once your system has adjusted to it, your life has adjusted to it, you can make it 1 hour more. It can be 14 hours. And then slowly, slowly, if it suits you, you can make it 16 hours. So basically, you start to close this gap over a period of time. And I also suggest that this gap be slightly flexible based on your capacity, because your capacity is not the same every day. There may be a day that you are more hungry and you're hungry earlier. So it's really important to actually listen to your body and not just stretch the fast just because you've decided that you want to do it for 16 hours or 15 hours or whatever it is. Also, what you eat between your eating window, those 8 hours or 10 hours, whatever it is, it really matters. It may benefit you at the beginning that you're keeping these windows, but eventually what you eat will catch up. So if you're not making your diet healthier, and you're not making your lifestyle healthier, you're not sleep also your lifestyle, which is like your quality of sleep and your movement, and how you what your recreation and how your moods are through the day, then this is going to be of no use. The second thing is the timing of the window matters. Yeah. So, do you know about sumo wrestlers? They're really big. They put on a lot of weight. How do they put on the weight? Does anybody know? If somebody knows, please put it in the chat. Like how they actually put on all that weight. Okay. Can you guess how they put on the weight? Maybe the guesswork can happen. If anybody has any thoughts and ideas how to put on weight, more protein, okay. Lata saying they eat at night. Yeah. So basically that's the correct answer. They eat the right food. They don't eat wrong food. They don't eat junk food to put on the weight. They actually eat the same thing that all the other Japanese people eat all the time. But they actually eat at night. They eat lots and lots of food at night. And that's how they put on the weight. Now, if they were eating the same amount of food during the day, they actually would not put on that much of weight. They would still put on because they're eating excessively, but they would put on much lesser weight than they would and than they do because they're eating at night. And that is because at night our digestive fires shut down. So this 8 hour or 10 hour eating window that one you're keeping, it should be at the right time. It should be roughly like, say, 10, 11 in the morning till about, like basically little bit before like high noon till about sunset. That is the time when our digestive fires, because, as per the circadian rhythm, as the sun comes up, our digestive fires becomes stronger as well. So, and then that energy, the food gets digested. Also, the energy gets used up through the day. Yeah. Eating post sunset is a recipe for weight gain and undigested food and, not good sleep and various other things. So this is about intermittent fasting. Let's move on. Okay, fun question. Would you have coffee during intermittent fasting? Like when you are in that fasting window, should coffee be had? Let me know in the chat. No. Okay. You guys are so good. You have all the right answers. I'm preaching to the choir. Okay, yeah. So, many people use all these hacks, these biohacks, like, to have coffee during, just before their workout, or they, like, oh, they'd say, oh, but it has no calories. So it's fine, we can have it in our intermittent fasting window. But no, it's not. It's actually like, especially in an empty stomach, it can actually be very, very damaging, and it can actually make your nervous system go all haywire. So it can really take your adrenalines up and cortisol levels up, and all these hormones can um, it can really unnerve you quite a bit. So it's not at all a good idea to uh, make your intermittent fasting window stretch longer by having coffee. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Okay, now we're coming to people who maybe should look at, like everybody can, like the answer is that, the fast, that like actually everybody can fast. It is like, as I shared, it's completely a natural thing to do. It's something that nature teaches us. It's something that, everybody is doing. But you may be in a certain season in life where it's not suiting you. So I'm just listing down those. So if you fall into this category, then maybe fasting is not the right thing for you right now. So pregnant and lactating women, of course, because what happens with fasting, especially if there are a lot of toxins inside the body, then these toxins start to get released in your blood, and that's not the right time to be doing it. When you're in a pregnant or in a lactating stage. People who have an unhealthy equation with their food and are using food either as a quick fix, crash diet, to lose some weight, to gain some quick results, or even as a punishment. Oh, because I ate so much, so now let me, kind of make up for that, or to deprive themselves. So that relationship, if it's not a healthy relationship, the result of the fasting is not going to be healthy. You're not going to be in tune and intuitive to know what's the right thing for you to do. You're not actually, so that relationship needs to first be improved, and then you can try fasting. If you have some serious medical conditions or are diabetic, then definitely you can, but you need specific supervision and guidance, or you need to learn very thoroughly about yourself, keep yourself, monitor yourself really well, and um, do it in that way. So you need to be careful about it, and you definitely need the supervision and the guidance proper. Perimenopausal, menopausal stage, many women, like, because the body is going through also changes, so many women report that they need, their food needs change, what they need and how they feel comfortable changes, and so they actually can avoid long duration fast. And in fact, I am actually in my perimenopausal stage, and I have noticed that earlier I used to be able to do pranic fasting and these long water fasts and things like that, but at this point, that's not something that makes me feel good or joyful. So I stick to like food fast or juice feast, that kind of thing. And also, if there are any mental health issues, then, again, it needs to be seen case by case, whether it's okay for you to do it or not. So again, under supervision and with some kind of guidance, not to just take it up, because it can actually make you more imbalanced also. So yeah, moving to the next slide. Yeah, I think this is the main question. This is one of the major objections that people have, like, how do I control my hunger or that feeling of deprivation when I'm going through this? So anybody experienced it? Like, anybody? uh Okay, someone. Okay, I'm going to answer this. Let me answer this actually while we are here only. Like, how do we know we are in perimenopausal phase? So essentially, your early 40s, 40 onwards till you menopause is more or less perimenopausal age for every woman. So you will be, if you're experiencing changes in your body, in your moods, in your energy, you will be able to tell. Like, every woman is able to tell they're perimenopausal. As you enter into your 40s, the symptoms start to come. So you will know if you're not there yet. Yeah. Um, yeah. Okay. So we go back to how do I control my hunger, and how do I, this feeling of deprivation. And the answer to this is that you actually don't need to do that. You actually need to just listen to yourself, and you'll be fine. Like, a lot of answers will come from within. So let's see where we are. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So I want to actually share this really interesting story, what happened with me. And this is something that happened in 2017. And I didn't know much about fasting back then. Like, I knew about fruit, like, having a lot of fruit, and but I wasn't actually really like even food feasting, or I wasn't fasting or anything like that. I was not introduced to this idea at that point. And I'd gone into the mountains to do a yoga course, and this was during the monsoon. The mountains, the mist, like the green trees, the sound of the rain, the sound of the river, like, it was just absolutely heavenly. And we would actually have this very intense yoga practice from every day, from morning, like from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I was asked by the teacher not to eat anything before the class. So I was very compliant, and I was like, fine, before 9, I will not eat, because it's better to do yoga on an empty stomach. And then I'm going to, 12 o'clock, we'll finish the class. And then 12:30 or something, yeah, we'll move straight to lunch. And I imagined that I'm obviously going to be like so hungry, because I would have done this 3 hour intense yoga class. And surprise, surprise, I would come out for the lunch and I would not be feeling that hungry. So I was like, okay, I was like much less hungry than I imagined I would be, basically. And then come evening, and I was there with a friend who was also there for the course. And in Himachal, in that place in in Dharamkot, there were a lot of these cafes and restaurants that serve vegan food. And those days, it was not very common to see in restaurants. So but in this place, they were there. So I was very excited about exploring all these restaurants and cafes and the food there and the desserts. But I would go there in the evening and I'd sit and I wouldn't know what to order because I'm not feeling hungry. I was like, what's going on? And I can see there are these delicious desserts and there are like pizzas and like it's all healthy and it's gluten free and it's vegan. And I'm just not able to get myself to eat much. And I'm not even eating much of lunch. And it wasn't like I was feeling heavy. I was feeling full, but I wasn't feeling heavy. And I just didn't feel like eating. And I was quite perplexed with that. So a few days later, I was just, I was just, sitting in the balcony and I was, it was a very beautiful view from my hotel room and contemplating, just soaking in nature. And suddenly it struck me that the reason that I'm not hungry is because I'm feeling deeply nourished by nature. That's what's been happening. And the long hours of yoga and pranayam that we've been doing, in those 3 hour classes, it's been very grounding. And therefore, even though we've used up so much of physical energy in doing the class, and then also like when you walk to a restaurant or walk anywhere, there's a lot of uphill climbing, and I seem to have a lot of energy, and I'm just so deeply nourished by nature that there is no feeling of deprivation, there is no feeling of like you know like greed, hunger, anything like that. I'm just eating minimal. I'm eating, I'm eating the meals, but anyways, this experience, it lasted till I was there, and then I came back, I got into my life, and it kind of faded. And the year after that is when I met my guru who taught me everything about fasting, Dr. Arun Sharma. And then when he talked about these 5 elements, the earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And that's when I was like, this light bulb went on, and I was like, oh my God, like I actually experienced that sense of freedom because I was so nourished by all the elements that I was actually not, you know, so it was like, because I was so much nourished, it was like automatically the fasting was kind of, it could have happened. If I knew, I would have probably, not tried to, eat. Because at that time I was actually trying to eat because feeling like, oh, like what if I get hungry later? Or what if I don't have the energy and, things like that. But after learning from him, I realized that, it was just perfect. Like I had experienced this without even knowing the science. So let's move on to a little bit of a discussion on the 5 elements, which are the Panch Mahabhutas. I'm sure everybody's heard of these. They're there in our shastras and in our ancient texts. The earth, uh, water, fire, air, and ether or space. Prithvi, Jal, um, Aap, which is Tej, Vayu, and Akash. So let's quickly move, from one element to the next, and I'll explain how they are connected. So, these are like, the thing is that what the texts say is that everything in the universe is made up of these 5 elements, including our body. So, the glass on my table itself, this laptop, everything that is around, all mountains, rivers, and our bodies as well, like every other being also, different compositions of these 5 elements. Yeah. So hence, food is just one part of the nourishment. So food corresponds to the earth element, which is it's gross, it's the most densest one, it's something that you can actually see, touch, feel. So that's like a gross food. And all the other elements are also actually our food, and they also play a role in nourishing us. And so it another way in which the earth can actually nourish us is through grounding, right? Walking bare feet on grass or on sand. Also, this is, as I mentioned, that it's the densest one. We can touch, feel, see. It also has a specific form or shape. Then we move on to water, which is, our body is 70% water. So definitely, our body does have that element. And we use water to relax us. In Nature Cure, there are various water therapies. It is lighter than the earth element, yeah, because we can touch, feel, and see, but it has no shape and form, yeah, and it flows and it gives us that flow energy, yeah. Moving on to fire, so the energy from the sun, it gives us the light, the energy to everything that it touches, huh? And it also sanitizes. We can harness this energy directly. We harness this energy actually indirectly through everything, because even everything else is, the energy in everything else is also harnessed, is also from indirectly from the sun itself. Yeah, but we can actually harness this energy directly as well through sun gazing, through sunbathing, and through our bodies synced with our circadian rhythm. The food thing that I was talking about, that window, like, when our digestive fires are the strongest. And then also like cutting out the blue light at night so that we can get good sleep and things like that. Then the fourth element, which is your air, very subtle. We can only feel it. We can't touch, we can't see, and it has no form. But we know that it nourishes us, right? Because clean air, when we go from a polluted environment into a clean environment, we feel differently. And we can actually tap into this through pranayam and deep breathing, and through prone breathing as well, through movement and exercise, because that helps to open our lungs and improve our lung power, and deep breathing. And the last element, which is the element of ether, is the most subtle, and it can touch, feel, see. I mean, you can't, touch, feel, see. It's, but it's basically omnipresent, and everything exists within this space or this ether, right? And we have the space element within our body as well. Yeah, all the passages, like the nasal passage, all the, all the empty spaces within. They all signify ether. And these are the spaces that actually get blocked by the other elements, and specifically by the earth element. Like our sinuses, for example, can get blocked. Like our nasal passages can get blocked by mucus, and these are all these are all solids, which are the earth element. So essentially, this is the element that is most lacking in our lives, in our busy hari kari bari lives, right? um, So how do we experience, this ether in our life? So A, of course, within our body through these, empty passages, but also by creating space for the new, through meditation, through spending time in nature, with travel, and with fasting. And in fact, my guru, Dr. Arun Sharma, would actually equate fasting to not deprivation, but feasting on ether. So it was such a nice way in which he put it, actually, right? Yeah. So, I mean, how does all this land? How does all this land for all of you? Um, if you can just share if there was anything, if there's any, like, what your thoughts are on this. What do you think about this? How does yeah, Alpana is asking, for how long can you sustain fruit feasting with a single cooked meal? You can actually sustain it for a very long time. You can easily sustain it for 9 days. But again, it all depends on your own body, the rest of your life. How much willing are you to give a break to it? Yeah, so you can do that. So it's very. I mean, I know of people who are fruitarians. They have only fruit, like like the whole year. They will with something else in between. So it really actually depends. But like it's a very easy plan to do for a long period of time. It can sustain you, and depends on what you're trying to, what your intention is as well, right? So let's move to the next slide, which is, um, what do you do now? So the next step after this is you choose your level, like, where, what you actually want to do. We make a plan. Yeah. So maybe you can take your notebooks out and, just kind of decide what is it that you're going to do this Navratri. So for someone who's absolutely new, you could even start with approach to fasting. Or if you feel very, adventurous, we can straight away go for the half day water fasting as well. If you fasted before, then maybe you consider moving to the next level, just at least giving it a try. And there are different ways to actually do that also. And if say for example, you've been doing this, fruit feasting, and you want to try juice feasting, so it's not necessary that you have to do so many days of juice feasting. What you say, you decide that I'm going to do like 5 days of fasting this Navratri. You could actually do, like, say, 2 days of fruit feasting in the beginning, then go into 2 days of juice feasting, and then last day another day of fruit feasting. Or it could be 6 days, do 2 days of fruit feasting after that. So it could also be like, you go into it and you come out of it. So the more you make this graph for yourself, the easier it is for your body to adapt, because it's not taking on any big changes. And then your detoxification symptoms and all also will be more handleable for you. So A, choose your level. Secondly, choose your number of days. So for, of course, total newbies, start with even 1 day, no problem. And those with experience, go all 9 days. So and then, just some steps to set you up for success. Start your fast with an intention or a sankalpa. You've made the plan. Now also make like an intention that, what, I will do it. And then change your, whatever changes you need in your life for these many days of fasting. Make them, because that's the only time. That's actually like the making of the space, the actual making of the space, or the space element, or the ether element, to allow this to happen for you. Because if you don't make those changes, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Keep time for meditation, nature, contemplation, because things will come up. When you're detoxifying and when you are, going into this journey, things will come up. Then feasting on higher foods. I'll talk about it in the next slide. Keep time for rest as needed. Also, ask for your family to support. People who are around you are the most instrumental. So maybe find a buddy, maybe somebody in your family fasts with you, and do it together. It just becomes a lot more fun, and it becomes a lot more easier to do it as well. Don't forget to offer gratitude every night, and really gift yourself this time to go deeper and nourish yourself, because you really deserve it. Let's look at what feasting on higher foods can look like, the different activities. So, since we are, cutting down on our food, on our earth element, the grounding, or walking on barefoot or grass or sand will actually really be very, very helpful. Minding your water intake, because, when you're detoxifying, more liquid and more hydration always helps. Then, if you know about enema and hip baths, these are also very helpful. But if you don't know about it, it's fine. If you're taking the support program, then I can help you a little bit with this. Then sunbathing, taking direct energy from the sun, of course, in the early hours when the sun is not very harsh. Gazing into the sun also, when at sunrise or at sunset, when the sun is still red. Pranayama, if you know anything, otherwise, the internet is also full of like so much, so then, definitely, like, we feel like, we shouldn't move much and we should conserve our energy during, when we're not eating that much. But actually, movement is very good. Some little bit amount of movement. It helps to move stuck energy. And you'll be surprised that, you're feeling low on energy. You start moving and you actually start feeling more energetic, because there was some energy stuck somewhere, but now you've given it the space, because you're also fasting. You've allowed it the space to actually move instead of remaining stuck. Some meditation, maybe starting your morning every day with some meditation. Some could be some journaling also. Adequate rest, some creative activities, whatever calls out to you, whatever you want to do, or whatever maybe you already are doing something, like some painting, sketching, poetry, so many things will come out of you, out of that space that you create. And spending time in nature. Could be in a park, could be under a tree, it could be just watering your plants, nurturing them. Yeah. And if you all will allow me, I'll quickly share with you all about this, Navaratri reset. For those of you who are master fasters, maybe you don't need this. But those of you who are not sure, and this information is actually, and this thing is not enough for you, then this is an invitation for all of you to go in a little bit, in a little bit deeper and get some support over here, which I'm very happy to offer. And of course, when there's a whole group of us who's doing it together, it'll be super fun. So I've only kept it for 3 days, which is the next weekend, which is 26th to 28th of September. So it's only 3 days. And what you will get in this is each day there'll be some, live calls where we'll actually all connect. So on 26th, we'll have like a detailed explanation on the food guidelines, which we have talked a little bit about today. But like even after this explanation, also I'll be giving you some guidelines, which you can just take screenshots or you can take notes, and you can use those guidelines. But here you get a space to actually like discuss, and there's just so much more to explain actually. So if you wish to go deeper, then this is good. And then on 27, detailed guidelines on the 5 elements, because today we've just touched upon them, but understanding more deeply, actually bringing them into practice. And on 28, we'll the live call will be about the psychology of eating, especially for those who, have a lot of cravings, there's hunger, binge eating, um, differentiation and an awareness of like physical hunger versus emotional hunger. So that session will be about, all that. And of course, every day we're also going to have like meditations and pranayam along in these sessions. And I will be giving you recorded ones as well, which you can listen to other times in the day. So there'll be, of course, these daily live calls. Then we'll be on a WhatsApp group. So there'll be like some daily journaling prompts, which will get you thinking. The guided meditations and pranayam will be there in the calls, and they'll be also uploaded for you, which you can access at any time. And a recipe with 40, like a PDF with 40 plus recipes for each kind of fasting. I just want to share with you, this is actually just a screenshot of the PDF. And let's see what all is in it. It's really like, all the lovely recipes that I've used over a period of time. I've, kind of put them. So all like, so if you can just, if you can just kind of get a sense of what all is there. And there's also like all these different fasts very nicely put so that you have a lot of clarity as to what you need to do and where you need to go, where you need to look for the recipes. There are beverages. There's, a lot of fruit-based recipes for those who are fruit feasting. Smoothies. There's also, then there are soups, very nice, nourishing soups. There are grain-free meals, lots of them, very delicious ones, all tried and tested over the years. And they'll keep you really full. And then you have these, your Navaratri compliant, oil-free, vegan, whole foods meals. There are some desserts as well. There are, so, and they're all like really, and also there's a resource directory. Okay, so now we're still on a lot of juicing recipes are there. And there's a sourcing list as well. So yeah, so there's a lot that's gone into it. And literally like everything that I'm going to be sharing in this program is like everything that I've actually practically learned in the last 15 years, tested on myself, worked with a lot of clients, and so many different like so many fasting programs in the past as well. like everything that I feel like a person needs is all there in this, in this 3 day. I've basically compressed it in this 3 day program because I feel like, you can actually get the maximum bang for your time and, get to learn this way. Okay. So let's move to the next one. And so here is the, um, like here is the link for actually like participating in this. You can take a screenshot of it. We have a discount till tomorrow for everybody who's on the call, and I mean, people who watch the recording later as well. This discount is available till tomorrow night only. 21st, that's tomorrow. Yeah, that's 21st. 22nd onwards, the price changes for this. And of course, the discounted price is 1500 for this, which I feel is like really like, there's just so much that one is getting to learn, for that kind of thing. But like, I'm really happy to, offer this. And of course, if finances are a constraint for anybody, please reach out to my team, to me, to my team, anybody. And we are really happy to offer it to you at any other price as well, provided it, of course, suits us also. Because I would really like, this is really like learning to fast correctly is really like a life skill. So I don't want anybody to be deprived of it because because of anything at all. All you need to actually give over here is your time. Those 3 days of commitment, which will really be very, very transformative for you, for sure. So, oh, I think I missed out on one of the slides because no, I didn't, or maybe I forgot to put that in. I think the pricing. So I've mentioned about the pricing. The pricing is, 1500 till tomorrow, and after that it'll change to 2000 from 22nd onwards. So maybe Lakshmi can also put this link on the chat and this thing on the chat as well. And if you scan this and you won't need to input this coupon for the discount because we've already put it in right now. Anybody who logs in right now will immediately, be given that discount. But from 22nd onwards, that won't be the case, right? So yeah, so maybe Lakshmi, you can just put it on the chat, this link and the scan code. Yeah. Moving on to the most important, which is the guidelines, which many people ask for, and which is the food guidelines. Now, actually, fasting is not supposed to be that much focused on food, but because there is so much confusion around food, we end up kind of focusing on it quite a bit. So the general guidelines are very simple. Again, this can be screenshot and you can actually refer to it later as well. So what is to be 100% avoided, which is like obviously your animal foods are absolutely out: meat, eggs, dairy, milk, ghee, dahi, paneer, butter. And then your grains and legumes and millets are also out, like your wheat, rice, beans, bread, suji, ragi, jawar, bajra, barnyard, foxtail, kodo, proso, onion, garlic, iodized salt, and excessive spices. Fried food is out, refined sugar is out, sabudana is out, alcohol, tea, and coffee. That kind of leaves us with very less, right? But let's move on to the other side. There's actually a lot more that you can also have, which is like you can have fruits, coconut water, dry fruits, all lots of different kinds of vegetables which are lighter on the digestion, such as gourds, pumpkin, sweet potato, yam, root vegetables, raw bananas. What needs to be avoided in the vegetables is the cruciferous vegetables and the beans. You can have some these are called pseudo millets, or flours which are made with non-grain flours. So buckwheat or kuttu, little millet, which is sama, which is a millet, but it's the littlest of the millets. So the others are not compliant with Navaratri fasting, but little millet is. Quinoa can be had, and water chestnut flour, because it's literally like a fruit that's been dried and it's been floured. And raw banana flour also, which is really, and I have actually the recipes of all these are there in that document. And even these vegetables. And so you really don't, if you have that document, you really don't have to worry. Also, salt usage is either rock salt or pink salt. And then You can include herbs and minimal spices. And of course, like herbal infusions, water, and fresh juices are also a possibility in these fasts. Let's also quickly go over some of the common mistakes that people make. And of course, the first one is, there are all these Navratri thalis that are going around and all these falahari foods which are going around, which are absolutely so counterintuitive to the whole concept of Navratri fasting, right? So, which is why all these, that recipe doc has been worked on so that we can actually stick to that and we can actually gain some benefit. Yeah, so the same, these falahari, kuttu, and these things, they have actually been made into, like people make puris with them, and sabudana vadas are made, and tikkis, chips, so all these things. So, too much fried, too much oil, sabudana, this is the common mistake because it's all available and everyone's doing it, but it's actually not really helping. And I've actually seen that people end up eating more than their usual when they're eating all this. So then dairy products, because somehow dairy seems to be something that people feel like they can have, but actually it's again very counterintuitive because it's heavy, it's a toxin in our body, it doesn't work for us, and um, it's one of the allergens, major allergens worldwide as well. So it's absolutely something that we can avoid during the Navratri fast. And the last one is how we break the fast. Yeah. So a lot of times I've seen that people are doing the fast and they're very diligent, and then they break the fast and all hell breaks loose. So, which is why I shared about this creating this flow for yourselves. Like say if you wanted to even do juice fasting or one day or half day water fasting, go into a fruit feast, then go into a juice feast, then go into a water feast, then come back to a juice, then come back to fruit, and then maybe you can come back to some light cooked food. And so that way you're really being very gentle on yourself, and that's the right way to go about it. So yeah, these were some of the common mistakes. And then like snacks that you can kind of have are like the juices, dry fruits. These are all for the newbies basically. If you're doing like water fast and fruit fast and all, then all these things are not that much relevant for you. But then if you're like absolutely starting afresh with fasting, then these are the important to keep, because that's also like one of the things I've seen that ends up happening is that a person is decided they're going to fast, and then they get hungry, and then they end up going for the wrong thing. So better to stock up on the right things which are going to be good for you, and then go for those when you actually, if hunger strikes, or even if it's emotional eating or whatever. So better, it's much better than going not keeping it and then going in for something that's wasn't for you in the first place. And we finally come to questions. So if there are any questions, let's see if there's anything on the chat. Everyone. Okay, so I think perhaps what you can do is you can unmute, and I'm going to stop screen sharing. So anybody wants to ask a question can just unmute and ask the question. No problem, because
Bhana,
yes.
if we start the fasting, right? If you get the periods, how will you handle in that time? We're doing
Yeah.
fasting in Navaratri.
You can do it. It's not a problem. Maybe you'll just need to eat more. You'll just need to eat more. And maybe it's okay to do like a fruit feast with like one cooked meal, if that's something, that could be nourishing for you.
Okay.
Definitely, I mean, and if you're got your period, then maybe your water fast is not a good idea, or even a juice fast, because you need more energy during, and you need your body is like in a different stage at that point. So you do need to be eating.
Okay.
I would just suggest that you should take this fasting thing before Navratris so that we can implement it and we can have those meals during the Navratri
Yeah,
fasting.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So
even
what
I
you,
agree to that.
so absolutely. So if you sign up for the program today, these recipes are all yours from today, the moment you sign up.
And
And
would you be, and in case if we'll get the PDF today, would you be just cooking it like an online class on those 26 to 28?
no cooking. Just what we can do is we can start a WhatsApp group on Monday. You can sign up, we can start the WhatsApp group on Monday. The reason I've kept these calls during the weekend is because more people are likely to join in live. That's the only reason. Uh, so I can give the support during the week also. Maybe it can be on WhatsApp. And the recipes can be yours, the meditations can be also there, can be also given before so that you can use them. And then the yeah, can
And you can suggest some, likewise, you just suggested
oh, I think somebody needs to mute themselves.
as you, I'm sorry, there's somebody who's just speaking.
Yeah.
Can I just continue?
Yes, please.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, some things to be kept in mind during fasting period. Likewise, the sunbathing and the pranayam, chakra pranayam. So, would you be providing all
Yes.
set of?
Yes. So I will be providing meditations and pranayam audio, which you can download. They'll be uploaded by Monday. And so you can have access to them. And, in those live calls, one of the sessions is on the 5 elements. So I'll be going a little bit more detailed into, like, for example, sunbathing. So what is the best way to get benefit from it? Different, like some little bit I explained in today's session also, but some more. So for example, let me give you an example of this. Just because we were short on time, and I mean I couldn't have like a 3-hour masterclass, and you wouldn't actually be able to retain all that. So therefore the information needs to get broken. So for example, sunbathing, I said that early hours of the, like, when the sun is not too harsh, but you would, like, ideally, like, you need to expose as much of your body as possible. So to find a spot in your house where maybe you nobody can see you, but the sun is coming in, and to keep your head and head covered and cool with a, say, with a wet towel or something, because if the heat goes into your head, then you can get headaches. It can get quite bad. So some people can even get migraines and things like that. So the head needs to be kept cool, the body needs to be exposed, all different sides of the body can be exposed. And you hydrate yourself before, like you have a glass of water before you sunbathe. After that also you sunbathe, and after sunbathing, no shower for a couple of hours, because that's when your skin is, the skin is still active, like the vitamin D is still getting activated, and that work is happening inside your body. So if you take a shower 10 minutes later, then like that effect is not so powerful as it would be if you actually bathe a little bit later. So
But
you see, like, there's a lot of intricacies to many of these practices which make them more powerful for you.
But how does one manage, because in the sun, in the flats or in the this thing independent houses also there
Yeah.
are adjacent houses.
Yeah.
So how does one manage like this to lie in the sun?
So yeah, so you got to find your spots. Like, I've got a house, the house I live in. I specifically picked this house because the morning sun comes in and nobody can see me. So I was already aware of that this is a very important as practice that I want to do at least 3-4 times a week. So I do not want to like
But
compromise.
everybody can't get a
Everybody
corner
can't.
house.
But the thing is, once you start looking, you may be able to find, because maybe through a window, some light is coming, at a certain point. So it's possible. It's very much possible once you start looking. you don't have to do it outside. Or you wear minimal clothes. You can just wear shorts and where a lot of your body is exposed. And you can do it outside in the balcony or something then.
Acha, and half day water fast.
Uh-huh.
After the half day, what does one take?
After the half day, at whole day you take water till 5 o'clock.
Hmm.
Then you take two, you can have 1 to 2 coconut waters. Have them very slowly. Sip them, sip by sip. You're waking up your system, your whole digestive system that's been on a break for 24 hours. And then you break it like that, and then you have a meal after that, like after 1 hour or something. You can have like a
Means half day if, till 5 o'clock, the whole day is
yeah, yeah.
practically over.
That's what I was saying. It's very cryptic. It's called half day, but it's actually like, you've done a water fast for literally 24 hours almost.
Because one day previously, supposing dinner you have at say
Yeah.
6 o'clock or something.
Yeah. So next
So
day, if you can break your fast at 4 o'clock. So 22 hours you've done water fast. But
so it's
technically it's
practice.
only half day because, till 4 p.m. is just half a day. That's
And
what
then only water, not coconut water also.
no coconut water.
And no coconut water also.
No coconut.
Only water.
Yeah, because it is called a half day water fast. So if you're
And,
doing
after that you
having
take.
coconut water, then it will be called a coconut water fast.
Okay. And after that you take just coconut water.
Yeah. Yeah. You take
And
coconut water and you can have a meal after that. You have a meal.
cooked meal.
You can have fruit or you can have a cooked meal. But that cooked meal needs
And
to
how
be
much duration between water and the coconut water?
Sorry, come again?
You said after taking water, you can take coconut water. So, like after taking water, you can just at 4 p.m. you took
Or 5 o'clock,
water,
have coconut water.
and
So
then 5 o'clock you can
in a
take
water fast, you're anyways having water throughout the day whenever you want to.
Is it hot water or is it plain water?
Plain water, room temperature.
We have herbal tea
You can have herbal tea also, no problem.
in water fast throughout the day.
Yeah. Herbal tea you can have in any fast.
But like you are saying, a half day water fast.
Yeah.
Instead of just water throughout the
Herbal
day,
tea. You can
take
have herbal tea, no problem.
herbal tea or like hibiscus or anything
Yeah. As
fresh.
long as it's a liquid and it's
Hmm.
not it's not coconut water or it's not juice and it's a herbal infusion, you can have it, no problem.
Which is an institute in Himalaya? You said this thing of some Sharma. You said your guru.
Dr. Arun Sharma, he's in the US. He comes to India and he does these nature cure retreats. He's not in Himalayas, he's in the US.
So
Yeah, I can send his website, maybe on the group we'll share.
can you share it in the group? We'd like to know more about it.
Yeah. 100%. Everybody should attend his, if you're interested in learning about nature cure. Like I've only given you a slice, like maybe 1% of what is actually there. So he's
No,
really like
not just that we like to read it on the net so that we get
there's a lot of information. There's a
so
lot of
that we get a lot of we get a reassurance
share.
that yes.
We'll share
Okay.
everything. We'll share all these resources.
Hi,
Yes.
Bhavna.
Hi.
I get piles issue if I'm fasting. Like I've done fruit
Mhm.
fasting for all 9 days,
Mhm.
but others I get a lot of heat in my body due to which I get piles issue. So
Mhm.
how do I avoid that?
How about cooling fruits, juices, juice fast? Have you tried that?
No.
You can try.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Hi, Bhavna. This is
Hi.
Anushree. Hi. Hi. First up, thank you so much for getting so.
Sorry, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was saying thank you so much for sharing so much with us, and it's really very insightful to hear new things and also resonate with some things that I think we experience. That's what I felt. I have a question which is around fasting, not particularly Navratri, but as per a body rhythm observation that I've had, and I think maybe your insight will help.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I feel is I've gone through a drill where there was a time when I was eating very healthy food
Mm-hmm.
for a very long period of time,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't innovating a lot with cooking. It was the existing, choles, rajmas, how in Indian households we make, but
Mm-hmm.
it was largely very healthy.
Right.
And then COVID happened and I lost my smell, and then there were some other issues that I had, so I started losing weight,
Mm-hmm.
and later realized that I needed to experiment a bit with cooking because now I couldn't smell, and so I had to experiment to get myself excited to want to eat, otherwise everything just tasted the same.
Mm-hmm.
And the question that I actually want to ask you is that, I've had days when, because of this whole period where I could not have different kinds of food, carbohydrates or really interesting food that I really liked. I was just kind of eating, so to speak, healthy, but not something that really excited me,
Mm-hmm.
in that sense. So, what really happened was I had a time when when I wasn't eating, I felt deprived. Like internally, I felt like I was losing weight, and when I started eating, I was enjoying it because I felt like my body actually needed it. I did not realize that it needed carbs, and I literally allowed myself to have cheese and all the things that I may not have indulged in earlier for health reasons. Now the thing is, my observation is that there are days when, and then I got into workouts and a lot of nature immersion and meditation, a lot of present moment things, and I realized that my hunger is not so much when I'm present. When I have more hours in the day when I'm present,
Right.
I don't feel a lot of hunger.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, there have been days when I have gone without eating and I have felt a bit gassy, or I felt like I need to eat something,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe lesser number of hours compared to the other state when I have been holistically, like nature immersion, meditations happening, experimenting with my food, largely healthy food, uh, but like moderate amount, and I'm good. And
Mm-hmm.
then there are days when I feel that even gaps of 4 hours or 5 hours in between kind of makes me feel gassy, and I'm like, no, I need to eat something, and in the process then I'll be like, no, maybe I need carbohydrates, or maybe I need to eat a slice of cheese. So what I want to understand from you is, what is the difference?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that when I'm more present and when I'm more immersed in those activities, present activities, like you're saying, pranayama, maybe that's breath work for me if I'm doing breath work or indulging in meditation. And that time I'm feeling that, yes, okay, I'm not so hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I go 7 hours without eating, sometimes if I've worked out,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't feel
I got
hungry.
it.
So
I got it.
I just want to understand that difference. I don't know where that comes from, and I want to be able to address that well.
Just be more in the present moment. That
Okay.
works for you. That works for everybody. That's
Right,
the best
right.
way to be. Like I was sharing about my experience in Himachal also when I went for the yoga, where I wasn't hungry. So it was more like I was so in the present. I was so grounded. I was really feeling like so connected that there was no hunger even, like.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a
So
lot
I
to do
mean,
with mental,
when
lot
you're in
mental state of mind.
right. So when you're more present, I can be more intuitive when it comes to my food requirements. That is something I feel, and that's usually lesser and very aligned with what it is that I want. It could be as per season. I'll get myself thinking in terms of, oh, herbal tea. Like, what are the things that I can put in that herbal tea that will make me feel nourished or I need.
Yeah.
So it's more conscious choices. But
Right.
at the same time, there are days, and I'm still not sure that what is the major difference in these days.
Mhm.
Like, there have been days when I've been
Oh,
present, but
see, yeah,
even then I feel a pull towards, no, I'm feeling weak within, and I feel like, no, I need to have grains, or I need to have cheese, or I need to have something because I feel weak inside and I want to get that energy back.
so these
So
are this is our mind. Like
hmm,
we see, like this is the information you have got from somewhere. All
hmm,
of us keep getting information. I need carbs, I need this. God knows what your body is saying, you know.
Hmm.
So it's like, it's really like relearning this whole communication, with the body, because it's asking for different things at different time. But it's also like how we interpret that communication, which is something I'll be talking about in the eating psychology part. Like, I think this will get addressed.
Sure.
There is this, like, you're not alone in this. Let me tell you that. In this experience, there's people do experience this, like,
Yeah, I'm sure. I just think that it's a, it's, I'm not a, I don't know much about this because, you've really studied and you're into this.
yeah.
I just feel that, every day is different. There are days when, if you're working with a trainer and if you've taken strength training, that's a part of let's say that's a part of your regime, and
Mhm.
you're picking up weights
Mhm.
and you've been present, it's okay. You've picked up weights, but you come and you're very, very hungry.
Mhm.
You're really hungry and you feel like the regular portion that you have, or the regular, things that you are being conscious of while eating is not enough.
Mhm.
There are days that you want to have.
Maybe what we can do is, we can maybe talk privately after, because it
Sure.
seems to be
Yeah.
a long this thing, and it
Hmm.
seems to be a specific issue for you.
Hmm.
And at this time, we are already at 9:43.
Hmm.
So maybe we take some other questions if they are there, because
Sure,
I'm
no
he
problem.
wants to log
No
off.
problem. I
We'll
just thought if you had if there was some insight which was universal that
I
you could
think
share,
we'll
no
need
problem.
to go a little bit more specific to you,
Sure,
because
sure,
it's a
sure.
universal issue, but at the same time, it
A bit
needs
specific.
what needs addressing for you will be specific to you.
Sure, sure. No, I agree. No, thank you so much for your time, though. And thanks for all the insights that we've got in the program. Thanks.
So,
Hi, Bhavna.
I do too.
Thanks for everything. I just had a quick question.
Mhm.
So I'm traveling on the from the 29th, and this program is from 26th to 28th,
Mhm.
right? So after that, I mean, how do I break into? I mean, how will
I'll
I?
teach you all that. I
All
mean,
right,
you can go on 29th, because that's
all
what
right.
this whole point, because that
Huh.
weekend, it's over on Sunday, and you can go.
Okay,
You can.
all right. Thanks much.
I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, yeah. I was just making the payment. It wasn't going through, so I had
Oh,
this. I just wanted to quickly clarify.
okay. Yeah, yeah. You'll be free by 28th.
No, being free is no. That wasn't my question. My whole thing was how will my body react when I'm
Be fine. It'll be
all,
fine. Yeah, yeah.
all,
It'll come out stronger. So you'll be good.
huh,
It'll be,
all,
yeah,
all.
you'll be in flow
Thank you.
state.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bhavna, in intermittent fasting, during the break, I mean, like when we are not having food, that window, can we have lemon water with some basil seeds or chia seeds?
No, no, no food.
No.
Lemon water is still okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Lemon
but,
water,
but
honey?
no, no. See,
No.
now what I want, the question you want to ask yourself is like, why are you doing the intermittent fast? And
Mhm.
if you want to have all this in the fasting window, then why is it going to be a part of the fasting window? Why can't you just break it and go into the eating mode?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So in when the fasting window is on, it, like, you can have water, you can have like
Mm.
lemon water. Chalo, see, it's all up to you. Like, I mean, none of this is set in stone, huh? If you feel like for those 16 hours you want to keep, and but within that, like, 8 hours only you want to eat. But before that, you can maybe have a juice or something if you feel like it will help you to it will help you. Then you just, maybe you can have a juice or a coconut water or a herbal tea, whatever you want to have, like, say 1 hour before or 2 hours before. And if that's what works for you, you do you, basically. Because all these constraints, like 8 hours, 16 hours, these are very rigid. And our life and our body, it needs to be more flexible. There needs to be more flexibility based on what's working for you. So this is very standard. You get my point.
Yes. 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 Understood.
So So you can do it, no problem. But if you ask me for defamation, it's not allowed. But you can do it. It's not, you're not going to, nobody's going to send you to jail for that.
Yeah, but I heard from my friend, she doesn't even taste the food that she needs to pack. I mean, like taste when she's cooking.
Yeah,
She
that's okay
don't
because when
even.
you're not eating see, if you eat the food, then obviously you're not on that intermittent, that fasting window anymore, right? So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, that though is like, and that's her. Maybe someone can taste, because maybe if it works for you to taste little bit,
Mhm.
it's okay. Break the fast. It's not like, it's not going to be so harmful for you to break it. If you just had one bite or something.
Okay.
I mean, it all depends on your own discipline, sense of discipline around it also. Because if that permission is given and then you start eating everything else also, then obviously that was not right. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think you have to be more flexible in what works for you and what you can sustain. I think
Mhm.
that's the whole idea, is that, especially with intermittent, because people do it with life. They don't take a break to do intermittent fasting. People do it with life.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So if there are no more
Bhavna,
questions, yes,
can I quickly ask one
yes,
question?
yes. Let's
Yes.
do one
So
last.
I have done fruit fasting like at a stretch of 30 days, a couple of times.
Wow.
But I'm looking at progressing it to one day. I've never tried fasting at all, like just
What a
water. So
fast. What a fast. Oh,
that is
wonderful.
what, just for one day, that is something I want to try with this. But now that you mentioned perimenopause, so that is where I am right now. So would you
Uh-huh.
advise me to try this, or
You can try it, but you can keep it open and flexible.
okay,
Because I'll take you, what you could do is you can do fruit fast,
okay,
and like you can try, say first do a half day water fast. Okay, try just half day of water fast first. And if you feel like it was okay for you, then try a 1 day water fast also. Make sense? Archana, I'm waiting to hear from you. Okay.
yeah, that is perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Should we look at the chat? Maybe some people have. Yeah. Cravings and hunger are related more to our bacteria. That's also correct. Yes, I feel more irritable and headache, and I'll be there when I try to control hunger. Please give some points. Okay, menopause. I think we've talked quite a bit about menopause. Whenever there's a lot of heat in my body due to okay, this we've addressed. Okay. Yeah, all this information applies to gents as well. Absolutely. Electron transport chain was complete via earthing. Yeah, we'll talk about this in like we can discuss about this. Many people who may not understand the context here, but uh, we'll talk about this in the other sessions, the uh, the next live calls. Digestive tract is our main space element, absolutely, and we're giving space. Complete refresher for me what Arun Sharma says. Okay. People put in doubts in one's mind about nutrient requirement of body not being met with a vegan and lesser food eating. Please throw light on it. So I think I'll throw, so this, from the perspective of this masterclass and this, what we are doing going ahead, I don't by any stretch of imagination advocate fasting as like to keep doing it like, forever. It's a stage. It's something you get, you fast for a little while for a particular reason to detoxify for whatever other benefits you want. And then you move on and you go back to not like, I won't say like, like say healthy, like healthy balanced eating, which is not fasting, but still healthy balanced eating. So, I mean, this lesser food thing, it's like you're only eating less when you're fasting. And in here also, if you're having fruit or you're having any other, like any other fast you're doing apart from the water fast, you eat as per your hunger. This is again something we'll address in detail in the eating psychology, like learning how to really read how hungry you are. And this is a lesson that goes into life also. It's not about eating less or eating more, it's about eating how, as per how hungry you are. And less and more is all very relative terms. Some people eat less because they get less hungry, some people eat more because they get more hungry. So it's, I mean, overeating is definitely not a good thing. Undereating is also definitely not a good thing. Eating as per your hunger is the right thing. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if she's there on the call, but
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
okay. So I think it's quite, we've gone on quite long. Where is it okay if if everybody who's here right now, are your questions answered? Then we can close the call. Should we?
So somebody asked, can we get access to only the PDF? Did you answer that question or did I skip that?
No. I would prefer, because it's part of the program, then I feel like it may not be fair on people, but it's something I can think about. And especially if, someone's already done fasting before and the fasting programs and whatever. So then maybe we can consider it. Okay. So I think we could probably do that at maybe like a lesser cost. We can work that out and we can share that on the WhatsApp group. So then if anybody wants the PDF, they can always buy the PDF also. And they can get this call and the PDF basically.
Great. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you all so much. Took up a lot of time. I hope that was good. And I'm glad that I guess quite a few of you are still here. So I guess it was interesting for you all.